Hey, what up, guys? John from LinksWell, and it is time for episode 22 of LinksWell Together podcast. New year, new podcast. Let's do it. Hey, all right, everybody. Well, welcome to 2025. This is our first episode for 2025, and I'll be honest with you, it's a little lonesome today. I'm in studio by myself. I got no guests, no co-host. Vic decided to take a couple days off with the family, and I'm coming back off of like 2 weeks of my family being sick. So Vic and I just couldn't get together to do a podcast. It's cool. So it's just you and me today. First episode of 2025, which means, you know what we're going to do? We're going to demo, or we're going to give you guys a new application. This is a new application that's coming out here in 2025. Just hit the market. It's one of those applications we've been working on for a little while. And just going to give you guys a little insight. We have mentioned this in some of our other episodes. But when we do R&D, when we do product development, it's a long process, guys. Like it can usually take average as a year. That's an easy average of how long it takes us to go from concept to beta testing to fixing whatever needs to be fixed to production to hitting it to our warehouse. And a year is honestly a short time with some of the stuff that we're interfacing. And one of the things that has, been a goal for us for a long time is to come up with something a bit more universal. That a lot of the like resto mod guys and the dudes building like, you know, full on interiors on different cars, guys that are building full builds, we're looking for something. Like, come by SEMA every year. We always get these guys asking, hey man, I've got a, 67 Nova I'm building, or a, 72 Vet or something. And we want to be able to create the center console with, a big screen that does a bunch of stuff. So it has been asked for a long time. We have had a few folks that have like mocked in some of our T-style stuff and just kind of, killed some of the pages, like the climate control pages and stuff like that, or the specific vehicle ones. But we have been trying to figure out a way to create something like we've released some double DINs. We released like our IQ series, and neither one of those just really kind of fit what folks were after. And so when we came out with the T-Style XL, we had a lot of people really like that idea of that multifunction knob on there and the big tall screen. So we had a lot of people asking if there was any way for us to make a universal version of that. And so, with many different variants and testings and kind of delays on different things, we actually just got our first shipment of those things in a couple weeks ago. So just in time for 2025. And so I figured, since I've got a lot of people asking about it, knowing that it was coming, that, our first episode of 2025, I would just put it in hand. Guys, give you guys a little bit of insight on the system itself. I'll power it on real fast just so you guys can see. If you've seen any of our Generation 6 or XL videos that we already have on our channel, just know this is going to function exactly like that, apart from anything that's vehicle specific. Okay. So when I say universal, guys, here's what I need you to hear me say. It is universal. So you can't ask me, is there a kit for it to fit in a fill in the blank? Because there isn't. It's universal. It is 100% universal. So it's just like every other manufacturer making universal radios. Just case in point, no double DIN manufacturer makes their own install kits, right? They just make a radio that's universal. And then you have companies that are making kits to fit that. So we have a universal T-Style XL. So no, we don't have a kit for it to fit into anything. We don't have any kind of mounting specific thing that's going to go in this vehicle, or any specific interfacing that's going to control or keep any of the factory situations or factory settings or features like we do in the vehicle specific stuff. These are universal, and so they're going to function universally. They're going to install universally, meaning we're going to give you a simple mount, and you're going to have to do all the work from there on to make it fit and make it look good. Make sense? So when I say universal, I mean that. Universal. We do not have an application sheet. We cannot tell you if it's going to fit in the dash. I can tell you right now, this will fit in the dash of nothing until you make it fit. That's the idea. So if you want to build a whole console, you want to redo your sensor, your dash, whatever you want to do. Like I've been trying to get the company to go buy me an old CJ5 Jeep that I can make the dash panel and put this big fat screen in there. We'll see if maybe it comes to fruition this year, maybe next year. But Universal. Got it, guys? Cool? Universal, no kits, no harnesses, no nothing. It's Universal. You're going to have to make it all fit and work, and you're going to have to be a technician and make it cool. Cool. Right on. Sweet. So here it is, guys. Our Universal T-Style right here. So a couple things I want to show you, and then I will power it on and just kind of give you a quick, like I said, just so you can see that it is literally pretty much exactly like every other Generation XL is. But if you're going to look on the backside here, we basically built a DIN chassis that's going to come off the backside here. All of your plugs are going to be just like that on any of our other T-Style XL radios. So you got your HDMI output, you have your Wi-Fi input, your 4G. So yes, this one has the 4G SIM card. You can see it coming off here. Hang on a second. There it is. So if you wanted to add your SIM card into it so you can give internet to it all the time, all of that's right there. Of course, it's going to have your nav antenna. It's going to have all your accessory ports for RCA pre-outs, Toslink out, USBs in and outs, all of the things. So watch any of our XL, really any of our T-Style radio installs at all, and you'll be able to figure out exactly all of the plugs that are happening in the back here. But as far as the chassis is concerned, it's going to be just about a DIN chassis, so consider that when you are talking about what you're going to build. You're going to have not quite a full DIN chassis because it's going to be mechless, so it's not going to be a full DIN. It's going to be like a mechless depth as far as what you need here coming out of the back there, and then give yourself some room for the plugs. And then what we have here is we have this big footprint here. Let me see if I can get this in this other camera angle here. So you can see here along the whole thing here, there's a whole bunch of screw holes. And we tried to make this as sturdy as possible, but also that you maybe, if you need to trim something, you can trim something. But the idea is you're going to make yourself some kind of flat section where this thing can go into something here, screw it down so it's nice and secure, give yourself a little hole there for that, and then this thing will sit flush in whatever you end up putting it into, whether it's on the dash of an old car, or whether you're building a center console or something. You've got your your typical knob here, and then you can see our flat bezel here ends about 2 inches from the thing, so your screen can pop up. Now again, the back of this is mostly finished, so if you need to have the top of that stick up a little bit, you might want to make a little bit of a pretty panel back there. But as far as the way it's going to mount, man, that's about what we got. Like, we figured, man, if we can make it as simple as possible for you to be able to put it into whatever you're going to build, center console. Like, I've built a ton of center consoles. I've built a bunch of custom dashes. And this may not be the best way, but for this large of a screen, and I'm going to tell you, it's not light. It's pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy screen, guys. A 15-inch screen with a whole radio chassis attached to it. So you're going to want to make sure that it's nice and secure into whatever you're building. But most vehicles, if you're building a center console like a lot of the hot rod guys like to do, where you, instead of putting just a 7-inch, little double DIN, being able to mount something like this and have this entire thing, like this whole bad mamma jamba right there, be your radio. Pretty simple, as far as I said. So when I say Universal, guys, like, that's been the question that we've gotten from quite a few folks, and we've been showing this thing at the shows, is what will it fit? And I'm telling you guys, it's going to fit whatever you make it fit. It's just going to be like that. It's like old school days when you had to decide whether you were going to cut the shafted dash to put a DIN radio in, or the old school days when you had a DIN and a half radio and you had to decide whether you were going to trim the dash to make it fit a double DIN. Like, that's what we're talking about here, guys. We're talking old school days where you gotta get a little ingenious. You got to get your Dremel. Now, I will say this, though. So I come from, the old school guys. So when I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking, man, if I could put this in this such and such dash, I'm thinking old school, where I'm going to, okay, cool. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get all that painter's tape, right? I'm going to tape up the dash, and I'm going to lay down the fiberglass so I can get my base, and I'm going to steel top the fiberglass, and I'm going to go to Walmart and buy myself the cheapest, fleece blanket I can find so that I can stretch it and resin it. All you old school guys, you remember. Right, you remember doing all the old school stuff. But nowadays, man, with 3D printers and 3D scanners, I really think the ability to 3D scan something, any of you guys that are super tech savvy, like I got out of the game just as 3D scanners were starting to become a thing. But I do know some friends who've got some 3D scanning skills and 3D printing skills. Like you might be able to 3D scan and 3D print all sorts of things to make this look even like a manufactured car when it comes to the dash. So I am kind of excited, not gonna lie. I am pretty excited to see kind of what comes from these things getting out into the market, into some of these big hot rod shops, and just seeing what people come up with, how they're going to mount it, how they're going to put it in there. And then you got all kinds of cool things, you know, like we want to in the future, if we can get some traction on this thing, just so you guys know, this one was not going to do it, but should we get some traction with this application, we'll be able to get a hold of some companies like Vintage Air or Restomod Air, and some of these other companies where we might be able to get into some of their CAN bus control stuff, where we might be able to like actually control the AC outside of the app. Because the idea is a lot of these guys have apps, right? A lot of these air ride systems have apps. A lot of the climate control companies have apps that you can control stuff from your phone. And in theory, you put the app on a radio and you'd be able to do the same thing. So building the center console and being able to do your air ride system on this screen would be pretty cool, right? There's our theory, guys. That's why we think it's a pretty cool idea about what it's going to be. And then once you've got your thing mounted here, I just wanted to show you, we do have these pretty little panels here that snap on to the sides. So let me give you this other side here so you can see it does have like a fit and finish there. So it will cover the screws. So whatever screws you end up putting into the bezel, just know we have a little pretty panel there that'll cover it. These just snap over. So if you ever have to pull it out and do any kind of work to it, it's as simple as that, guys. But that's really, man, when I say universal, it's a pretty basic setup, right, guys? Like build a panel, make it flat, cut a hole, run your wires, and screw this guy down, and then just have some fun with some apps and figure out what apps, you know, kind of work, which apps don't work. And then let me know, man. I need some folks tagging me. So if you guys end up getting one of these and you put it into something, man, I'd love to see some photos. Tag us on Instagram, tag us on TikTok, tag us on Facebook, hit us up on YouTube, because we'd love to see what you're doing. And then even maybe us being able to kind of step out and work with some other third-party manufacturers, maybe trying to get some interfacing done like that. But if you guys will give me 2 seconds, I'm gonna grab the plug. I'll plug this thing in real fast, and I will just power it on just so you guys can see, just in case this is your guys' first time ever coming across our stuff. Give you guys a real quick walkthrough on what the basic setup looks like on this when it comes to the home screen, the features and stuff like that. And I'll talk you through kind of a couple of things, and then we'll call it episode 22 in the books. Running solo 2025. Cool? Give me 2 seconds. Let me plug this guy in. All right, guys. So hopefully you can see that. I think my face is a little washed out from how bright the screen is. 15 inches is a big screen, guys. But here you go. Here is your basic setup when it comes to what the home screen is going to look like. Going to be very similar to any kind of phone you have. Now, make sure you check out, like I said, check out our playlist that has all of our XL and Gen 6 tutorials in there, like how to change the background, how to change the icons, how to do all of that stuff. I'm not going to show that in this video because I got a bunch of those videos. So I will actually, at the end of this video, throw the link to the playlist that has all of those so you guys can watch it to the end and click that, and you guys can check out some of the other features. But I did want to show you real quick, this is what you're going to get from out of the box. So you get in your car, you build your console, you mount this guy in there, you run your RCAs to your amps, you run your Toslink to your DSP, whatever you're going to do, hook up all your speakers, get the power and ground out there. Again, it's going to be power, ground, ignition, just like any other aftermarket radio. Turn it on, and then this is what you got. You're going to have your basic setup. YouTube's going to be on there, Play Store, Bluetooth, Google Maps, Chrome. And so some cool things, you can swipe to the right, and then you have more pages. So as you continue to go to the Google Play Store or whatever app store you want to go to and download apps, boom, 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 they're all going to pop up on here. You can see a couple apps like OBD Check. I believe that's the Torque app. Torque app is one of those apps that if you have like a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi OBD2 reader, you can plug it in, you'll pair it, and then you'll be able to get all of your vehicle, everything that's happening pretty much in the vehicle. So if you end up doing one of those resto mods where you put in like an engine with an what do you call it? A BCM that has an OBD2. Now you can actually use this as all of your clusters. Like you could all of your gauges. So you could have your tack on here. You could have all of your different fuel pressure, temperature for the engine, the transmission, the transmission temperature, all of those different things you can add right here on the screen. You'll be able to see just all the different things that you have going on the screen, man. It's kind of cool. You know, like, I don't know that I would want this in place of an odometer or something like that, or a speedometer in the dash, but at the same time, man, it is kind of cool. Simple as loading up this app. And if you have a system that's got the OBD reader, bing, bang, boom, you have all that data right there. And then if you swipe up from the bottom, this is kind of a cheap shot for you. Here's all your features. Car Auto, for those of you who don't know, that's CarPlay, Android Auto. So yes, we do have CarPlay. Yes, we do have Android Auto. Both of them are going to work wirelessly. We've got videos on how to pair those as well. HDMI, that's going to be HDMI out. That's actually how you're seeing this right now, is I'm actually porting the HDMI out into my camera switcher. So you're seeing a live feed of the screen. We do have an adapter if you wanted to do HDMI in. So if you wanted to add something like an Xbox or an outside source or something, you wanted to be able to mirror your phone or something like that, you can get an HDMI adapter input. Happy Lighting, just so you guys know, that's just an app that we use to control some of our off-road lightings on some of our vehicles. So again, being able to control like our rock lights and some of our RGBs, all of that happens inside of that app. The 531 test, that is actually an app to run a DSP. So like I said, there's a whole bunch of apps that you can add into this thing to kind of do kind of really cool things. And then, yeah, make it your own, guys. Like, you can put this massive 15.6 inch screen in pretty much any vehicle now. Again, so long as you can figure out how to mount it and get it in there. No vehicle settings, no vehicle interfacing. It's all going to be basic. Volume knob down here at the bottom. Home there. You've got your seek up and down. But there it is, guys. Super basic. Like I said, check out the playlist if you want to see some more features as far as what the XL can do. This is our new universal 15.6. Fits in whatever you can make it fit in. There is no kits. There is no adapters. I want to say that as many times as I can, just so folks know that I can't get you any adapters. But I know there are a ton of shops out there. There's a ton of technicians out there that can make this thing look really, really cool in just about any car. And we have them now. So if you're interested in a T-Style XL, make sure you hit up your nearest LinksWell dealer. You can find them on our website, www.linkswellinc.com. Up on the top right says find a retailer. You hit that, put in your zip code, and it will list them by the closest to you. If you don't have one nearby, we do have a couple online guys. You can hit us up and we'll get you in contact with those guys. But that's what we got, guys. 2025 coming out swinging with the first of our new applications. You want to keep an eye out because we have a new Tahoe one coming out. We have a new 1923 Silverado, and then we have our massive 18.5 inch for the new F-150. And as soon as those things hit the warehouse here, we will definitely be doing an episode as those applications drop. So there it is, guys. Make sure that you hit the link in the description. I can never say that right. In the description. Hit the thing in the description. Join the giveaway. We're trying to give away a 1,000-watt D-Class amp, 1 ohm stable. For those of you who didn't know, we do make amps as well as cool radios. But that's it, guys. Running solo. Thanks for hanging out with me on the first Monday of 2025. I hope your guys' New Year was blessed. I hope your Christmases were blessed. I hope you're all healthy and happy. And the 2025 starts off, I don't know, like a race? No, not a race. I wanted to start off something cool. I can't think of nothing cool, but hopefully 2025 is good. If you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. And hopefully next week, I'll have Vic back in-house. And just know 2025 is coming with some cool guests. I have a lot of cool guests lined up. Folks from like Roof Space and More Flat and a couple other cool manufacturers, Rock Slider. Got some guests coming in there. And new products coming, man. I'm excited. 2025, we talked about it last week, Justin and I, when we went camping. Just excited to see what comes in 2025. So make sure you hit that subscribe. Go in there, join the giveaway, win yourself an amp, and we'll see you guys next week.